As recently as 5 years ago, if someone had asked me, "Are you strong, Dan?" My answer would have been, "I don't know. I've never been tested." Yeah, it would have been, "I do not know. I have not been tested in a way that would illuminate for me whether or not I'm strong." But when you mention loss and when I think about the specifics of what my last couple of years have been, it's one of the few positives that I can find in the battering that I've taken, that allows me to feel the joy of being proud of myself, that my strength has really been tested. You knew my brother.
I
You
did.
knew, and so the last 18 months of going to a bedside, and you not only did you know my brother, like you knew the energy that he had, like you knew how unique he was, how singular he was as a personality type that was just vibrant. And so I had it tested for me in a way that I wouldn't want anyone to have it tested that way, because I've never experienced something like what I am feeling now, that every time I talk about it, I get like this, that there is a perpetual absence that is on me, that is
Right.
physically on me, that I've gotten used to walking around with, that is a daily and minute to minute strength tester that I've mentioned here before, that even when I laugh, right, I'm always looking for comedy. I'm out here in Hollywood, at least in part because there are so many comedy shows around here. Even when I laugh, I feel the physical pain to remind me of a love that has not yet been lost,
Right.
and that I don't ever want to die, right? I'd like this pain to go away. I'd like it to subside. I'd like it to be, to require a little less strength, but the reminders are perpetual.
And that is an experience that I have not had. So when I say that that's a strength that I see in you and people who experience that, I haven't had to exercise that muscle, and the just the imagination of that experience gives me this fear feeling, because it does require such strength to continue to push through that space and hold on to yourself when you're losing someone that you love in a way that you probably will never love again, because that's that person. I do want to tell you the story about David, and I think I've told you this before, but um and I'm very grateful that I got the opportunity to tell him as well. He gave me not just the best piece of advice that I've ever gotten in my life, but his um you mentioned his energy, his very unique energy. So I'm trying to think the year it was. I think it was 23 or 24. Um he and I were very good friends, and I was
13 or 14, probably, right?
yeah. Yeah, actually, it was earlier than that. It was earlier than that because it was before I started at QAM. So it was earlier than that, but he I was going through a very, very hard time. It was right after I had left that extremely abusive relationship that I was in. I was having real battles with my brother, with my family. A lot of my relationships had deteriorated because of that relationship, because, abusers obviously isolate you and separate you from your support group so that they can, have the ability to not make you feel like you can get help. So a lot of my relationships were very rocky with my family, and close friends. And I was back in Miami. I was sleeping on my friend's couch. I had absolutely no money. I was not working at all. And I was just in a real real low place. I mean, this is after college. Like, I had already done all the things I was supposed to do to be on my path. And I was just very lost, just not in a great place. And I was with him and at his apartment, and he was working on one of his magnificent projects that he was always working on. And I'm just sitting there bitching. Oh my God, I am complaining. I can't even imagine how I must have sounded, because I hate complaining about things that are within my control now. But I was just being a huge victim. And I was bitching about my family, and I was bitching about, my situation, and just, nothing's going right, blah, 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 blah. And he's just, he's listening to me, but he's working. And he stops me and says, please just stop talking for a second. And he says, let me ask you something. What is something that you want for yourself in the next 3 years? And it was such a significant and stark pivot from what we were talking about. And it was such a interesting, like, time window also. Like, he was like 5 years, 10 years, whatever. It was like 3 years. What's something you want for yourself in the next 3 years? And I said, I want to be full-time on air on a radio or television show in the next 3 years. He said, that's great. It's a great goal. Love that for you. How much of your energy are you putting into making that happen? It's like another interesting question. Energy is an interesting word to use. Energy, I don't know, like 10%. I don't have any money. I am sleeping on my friend's couch. Like, I am fighting with my family. I don't have a job. I'm just wandering around the earth right now.
A lot of energy is being put there, right?
And all that other stuff, all this chaos that is also kind of mostly in my control. And he said, he didn't respond right away, and just kind of gave it a beat, as he would. And he said, why are you surprised that it's not happening for you then? And it was such a specific, series of questions and use of words. And I don't even know if he was really being that intentional about it, but when he said it, how he said it, the words he used, it absolutely, I can right now go right back exactly where I was. I can see him. I can feel the words he said, hit me. And I was like, damn, that really makes a lot of sense. No one's ever put it to me like that before. And the energy word is the most important word that he used, because when we think of being successful, when we think of trying to accomplish something or change or shift or grow or heal, energy is required. And energy is not just time. It's not money. It's not, extra stuff. If you want to get in shape, if you want to be healthy, you have to drink water. You have to eat right. You have to get the proper amount of sleep. You have to work out. You have to be consistent. But we try everything else. We try to shortcut all of it. And we all know the answer, we all know, is you have to put all of your energy into living a healthy lifestyle. You can apply that to anything that you do or want to accomplish in life, whatever it is. But it requires 100% of your energy, not one drop less. And anytime you talk to, which you have, anyone who has accomplished great things, they say the same thing. I was obsessed, right? Kobe was obsessed. Michael was obsessed. Serena, obsessed. We're obsessed with greatness because that has to be the singular focus. And it requires sacrifice, and it requires less time in your relationships, all of these things. And all of it was like this whirlwind of hitting me at once. And I left there and have not been off that path since that conversation.
I remember, because people think that it was a holy man reaching into a crib and giving my brother an artistic gift. I remember him, when I was writing something for 18 straight hours, being on the bed next to me, just drawing his hand again and again, because it's hard for artists to recreate how a human hand looks. He spent 18 hours on just that, because my brother's gift was very much worked for. It was earned. It was not, it was learned. And when you mentioned the remembering the feeling of my brother, I think it's one of the things that I miss the most, that he demanded that you feel him, that what he was doing be felt, and was such an overwhelming presence in that regard. And what he wanted for me the most within those energies was joy. That you can't arrive unless you're pouring what you're describing there. I didn't know why you were involved with homelessness as part of your foundation. Is it because you were, when you say you were living on a couch?
Oh no, I would have had a roof over my head. I don't want to, mischaracterize that. But I did not have an apartment. I would be couch hopping with other friends. But the reason I got involved with homelessness was because my mother and brother and sister were homeless at some point when they were growing up, and because it is obviously something that moves me to empathy for a multitude of reasons. But yes, we are all that at one point or another that close to it.
You have to be pouring your energies though into, if you're perpetually complaining about all of the bad things in your life, you're manifesting
them, yes. And that really, like, what I took from that conversation, when I say like he shifted my life, like it's the most, I don't want to be hyperbolic when I say it's the most important conversation I've ever had, because I then became aware of my potential if I activated it. And I felt like I knew that. I had graduated from college or graduated with honors. I did all these internships. Like I thought I was doing all the right things, but I got off my path, and perhaps it was because I was in that situation, or I was at that point in my life where I needed that intervention. But he was really like an angel for me in that moment. And I've told this story many, many times, but I haven't attributed it to him. He was the catalyst for my success because he explained it to me how to do it, which was just to do it, but do it with energy. Put your energy into what it is you're trying to do. And I did, and now we're here.